Welcome to another episode of Master Mind Bites. Hi, my name is Fong. I'm an entrepreneur, business strategist, real estate investor, speaker, and also a best-selling author. And every single day, I help others unlock potentials and guide them to succeed. Today on Master Mind Bites, I get to feature another amazing individual. And the reason why I do this is because over the last few years, I've had the privilege and the honor to meet some amazing individuals, some celebrities, athletes, some masters of their skill sets, and got to be in the presence, hear their stories, understand what they did to become successful, and wanted to share some of those stories with you so that we can add that to our daily lives and also our businesses as well. Today, I get to feature the amazing George Costanza from Seinfeld, Mr. Jason Alexander. He is an award-winning actor. He is a Broadway star. He is a singer, a performer, an actor. He does it all, and he is absolutely amazing. I had the privilege of listening to him sing and also perform, and also hear him do some keynote speeches as well. So it was absolutely amazing to hear his story and understand how he looks at roles and how he's able to take on challenges and also become who he is today. And the thing is, lots of people think that, oh, him? Jason Alexander, isn't he just basically George? Well, not really. He and George is completely different characters, and it's actually kind of neat to see him switch it on and off, switching back from the George Costanza character to himself, which kind of neat, and how different that is. And his mindset is just absolutely amazing because he's so down to earth, he's so grounded, and he's so one of those people who's very strong-minded, and he understands where his situation is. He understands his roles. He understands his celebrity level and all that kind of stuff. And he's able to go out there and just do what he does best, and that is perform, make people laugh. And it was just a great experience being able to hear him speak and listen to him talk. Now, there are 5 things I want to showcase that he expressed during his talks and also in a lot of his other interviews as well. And that is, number 1, we have to make sure that the other person feels a certain way in order to get the results that we want. That's number 1. Number 2 is you have to be able to train your mind and your brain to become clutch. Number 3, always going to be something else. There's always going to be an end, and therefore you have to ground yourself with family. Number 4 is make a job. Don't wait for a job to come. And then lastly, number 5 is you have to give and acknowledge what the audience is expecting, and then you can move on. So going into a little bit more detail, number 1 is how do you make that person feel? He was talking about with regards to acting, and you can feel your character, you can feel the emotions, you can feel a certain way, but you may not get the results from the other person because you're not making the other person feel a certain way, regardless of how much you feel. And therefore, it's you don't owe me the emotion, you owe me the intention. You have to get the intention out there so that the person acts a certain way. Feelings don't always cause an action, but an action always relates to a feeling or causes a feeling to come out. And once you're able to get the counterpart, your audience, your partner to feel a certain way, then you're able to get them to create that bond, create that relationship, create that action and that result that you want. And that's how he puts it. It's not always him. So therefore, when he's acting, it doesn't matter as much about how he feels, but what he does to cause the other person to feel a certain way to get that right performance. And that's how we also have to feel as well. When we're up on stage, when we're speaking, when we're in a business room or a conference room, it's how does the other people feel? What do you have to do to get everybody else to feel so that they can react or think a certain way in order for you to do what you do best? So that is number 1. Number 2 is sometimes you have to train your mind to become clutch. And what do I mean by that? You have to be able to train your mind so that you're able to perform on the spot when need be. You have to train your mind so that it's so that muscle is worked out so much that it will be second nature when it needs to perform a certain way if it's on the spot. And he was tested with that during one episode of Seinfeld, where he had to do a whole page monologue. It was a few pages actually, within a very short period of time, and they did it in one take. If you go back and search the episode on the Marine Biologist, they had this episode talking about how he was a marine biologist and all this other stuff, and it led to the ending, and all of a sudden they go, you know what? That ending just didn't kind of end right. It didn't sit well. And on the spot, Larry David, the producer and the creator of Seinfeld, went behind the scenes, wrote out a whole few pages of dialogue, and then go, okay, can you memorize this right now and perform it? And sure enough, George Costanza, Jason Alexander took that script, read it, memorized it, and then went out and did that in one take. No outtakes, no retakes, one take, and was able to perform that entire monologue without breaking character. And if you look back at that episode, it's one of the best dialogues, best monologues you ever see, and it was performed pristinely. He was clutch because he's trained his mind to memorize things fast and be in the character. He's trained his mind so well that that muscle just takes it on and goes out there and performs. And that's sometimes something we need to do. Sometimes when I'm asked to go speak on the stage on the spot, I have to be able to go, yes, I'll do it. Or yes, I'll take on that role. Or yes, I'll go and do that. Or yes, I'll help this person out. We have to sometimes act on the fly. And if you don't train your mind to be able to take on those challenges or train your mind to take on those opportunities, you might lose them and you may not be asked a second time. And once you're able to perform well in those situations, then those opportunities will keep on coming because people will know that you are somebody they can count on to be able to be performing on a clutch level, even if it's last minute. And so how do you train yourself? Put yourself in those situations more and more and more. Say yes to those opportunities. Say yes to those challenges. And then you can always work on perfecting it. And the more opportunities you get, the more times you practice, the more times you train your mind. When those things come, you can become better and better, better. And for him, he's memorized stuff so much that if you need to memorize 4, 5, 6 pages, no problem. He's clutch. He knows how to do it. So you have to train your mind to be that clutch performer. Number 3, there's always an end to something. So whether you're in business right now, whether you're in pro sports right now, whether you're a writer right now, there's always going to be an end to that journey. And what are you going to do at the end of that journey? So that's why he is a person who's so tied and grounded to his family. Jason Alexander has said that at the end of the day, when we look at what the media talks about and what the tabloids talk about, what people talk about when it comes to their celebrity status, it's usually overly glorified or overly exaggerated, or whatever it is that makes them either really, really high up there or really, really low. And therefore, at the end of the day, there's only 2 people that actually matter to him. And those are the 2 people he looks at every single day, and that's his son and his wife. And that's why he's so grounded. He knows that at the end of the day, everything comes to an end. And at the end, who matters most to you? And that is his family. And therefore, we need to always kind of get grounded back to our family, whether it's your immediate family, your friend family, whichever family group, that support group that you have. Be grounded to that to make sure that you don't venture too far off of who you are and venture too far off and let that ego kind of become overpowering. You have to stay grounded. And that's how he grounds himself. Number 4, when he was asked, what is one advice he would give everybody to think about? And that advice is, don't wait for a job. Create that job. Think about creating a job for others, creating opportunities for others. When you're out there and acting, thinking about using that as a way of making a living, then you're not going to make it. If you're out there and going, I want to be an actor so that I can create more for other people, then you'll be able to succeed because you're not focused on just the income. You're focused on the bigger picture. You're focused on other people. You're creating, and you're not waiting for the opportunity. Go out there and create that job yourself. And because in this day and age, you have access to social media, YouTube videos, all that kind of stuff. You could create anything you want and you can put it out there and you don't have to answer to anybody. So therefore, take the opportunity and create. If you have a message, if you have a skill set, create. Make that job yourself. Don't wait for it. And that's something he's been advocating a lot. He's done that for himself, creating more and more opportunities for himself. He also showed his son that, you know what, this is what you need to do. And sure enough, his son is creating a lot of different things online because he's not waiting for that opportunity. However, when that opportunity comes, they are clutch. They'll make sure that they'll take on that opportunity and excel on it. And the last thing I want to share about the 5 lessons learned is give the audience what they want, acknowledge it, and then you can move on. For a very long period of time, he was trying to go out there and get more roles and do different things. But because he's been playing George Costanza for so long, lots of producers, lots of directors go, I don't know. You remind me of George Costanza. You look so much like George Costanza. And therefore, it's hard to not see you as that character. Well, for him, it's kind of hard because that's his face. And he goes, well, what do I do? And then he decided to, you know what, I'm going to create something. And he created a stand-up routine where he goes out and tours and does corporate gigs and does stand-up comedy and all kind of stuff. But instead of going out there and having other people go, oh, so George Costanza is going to come out and speak, he actually went out there and grabbed a toupee, he calls it a piece, puts it on, and he goes out there and then acknowledges the fact that he's wearing it, but makes it a part of his act. He acknowledges, he knows the audience is looking for one thing. He knows that the audience is seeing one thing. He acknowledges it and he moves on. And it's one of the greatest stand-up routines I've ever seen. It's a lot of fun. And he has so much energy, so much creativity. And he's basically able to take on, avoid that typecasting and created a new type of role for himself. And something that was very, very creative. Like I said, he acknowledged it and he was able to move on. So those are the 5 things I thought was very important for our daily lives and for our businesses to grow. And those 5 things, once again, is how do you make the audience feel first? Number 2 is you have to develop your mind to be that clutch performer. Number 3, there's always going to be end. What is going to ground you? Number 4, don't wait for that job, make that job, create the opportunity for yourself and go out there and just create jobs for other people as well. And then number 5 is acknowledge what the audience is looking at and then move on and find a way to be successful. So those are the 5 things that I thought was very, very well said by Jason Alexander, something I thought was very well for our personal growth. And if you like this episode, please go back and watch some of my other episodes on Mastermind Bites. And if you like this show, I have a lot of other shows, the Peak Potential Success Show, the Unlocking the Mind Behind Make More Work Less, and also the Make More Mind Bites every single week. So until next time, thank you for your subscriptions. Thank you for your likes, your comments. I love seeing those comments. And until next time, today is the day to unlock your peak potential. We'll see you later.